Hello. So today we are going to look at Desmos. Desmos is a program that we are going to be using a lot in Algebra 2, and you will need to use it today to complete your task for problem 110 in lesson 112A. So let's look at a few things about how to use this program. So the first thing we're going to do is orient ourselves to the space. So on the left-hand side, it's called the expression list. We're going to type in everything we want to graph, everything we want to use, okay? And then we want the program to produce. So that's what we're going to kind of focus our time in for today. So today we are going to graph the function y equals the square root of 49 minus x squared. So to do that, we're going to click in the first box, the first input box, and we start typing our expression. We're going to notice that Desmos is going to real time evaluate or graph what I'm typing as I get there. So y equals, now if I want a square root, there's a couple ways of doing that. I can type in SQRT and Desmos recognizes it as a square root, or I can come down here to the keypad and in the left hand side of the keypad there's a square root and click that as well. Okay, now underneath the root I'm going to type in 49 minus x squared. So we go 49 minus x. Now if I want to square it using the keypad on the keyboard, Shift 6, then I type a 2 in. See how it graphs that. The other way I can do that is next to x. Now with my cursor next to x, I hit the keypad down here. I'm going to hit the a squared button, and that's going to square something for me. So there is the picture of my graph once I type the equation in. It's pretty easy. Now, notice how I don't see the entire graph. So one thing we're going to work on this year is when I graph something in this class, I have to have two components to it. I got to be able to see the entire picture with all key points. So part of the key points of a graph include the intercepts, or where the graph intersects each axis. So what you notice is that eventually the part that's cut off up here, I need to be able to, I think that's going to touch this y-axis eventually above here. So I actually need to move up the screen. So to do that, it's pretty easy on Desmos. So you're going to click somewhere with your cursor, and you're going to scroll down until you can see the graph. And now you can see the entire picture where it intersects. So there is that picture. So, okay, so you want to be able to do that. So pause this video, try it with your own function, and then we'll move on. Okay, so now we are ready to make a table. So one thing we want to be able to do is look at a function or a relationship with a table. That's one of our multiple representations. So what you do to make a table of some function, you just type into the expression list. We're going to hit this gear shift icon, the edit list icon. Click it. Then you can see inside the input box with the function there is this new icon called create table. So click on it, and in the second input line, it's going to create a table of values specifically for this function. So I click, and you see how it has x and it has the expression y is equal to. Now, by default, Desmos always picks these 5 values here. So a couple of things I want to talk about is how do I increase or add to the list? Well, if I look at my graph, I can see that the graph seems to exist between the points x equals -7 and x equals +7. So what if I want all the points between -7 and 7? Well, so up here, okay, so I'm going to click at -2 and I can edit these things. So I click -2 and put -7. You can see how now there's a point down here at -7. Now, if I want to hit a value below it, I want to edit the list, the table, so that it goes in numerical order. When I hit -7, I'm going to hit enter. And you see now there's a blank spot. I can type in -6. I'm going to hit enter again. I'm just going to fill it in -5, -4, -3, -2. So if I hit enter, it's going to add a new line underneath the input I just added. Now at the bottom of the table, you can see it below 2, there's this blank spot. So I'm going to click there. I can add a 3. Now, because I have all these values in this table, and you can see that x is counted by 1, Desmos recognizes that. So I hit enter to add a new line. It's going to automatically fill in it anticipates what I want. So 4 is what I want. It hits 4. I want 5 next. I hit enter. It gives me 5. I'm just going to do that up until 7. So sometimes you want to have as many points as you can. Other times you want specific points. So for square roots, I really care about the nice values that give me really nice output. So -7, 0 would be a really nice point. 0, 7 would be a really nice point. So if you haven't done so already, pause the video, make a table, and try to get as many nice points as you can. Okay, so the last thing I want to look at is how do you get Desmos to help you find those key points? So for us, key points are going to be places where the graphs start or stop, and places where the graphs intersect axes or the intercepts. There are other key points later. Those are the ones we're concentrating on today. So to do that, we're going to first hide this table. So if I want to hide a graph or a table of values, everyone has a little circle next to them. So the table has a circle with a bunch of dots in it. So if I click on that, see how it's empty and all those dots disappeared on my graph. That's great. So to find key points in a graph, first you're going to do is you're going to go to the graph and you're going to click on the actual graph itself. See how that graph became bold? That's a kind of a bolder red color. And you can see when I clicked on it, there was these gray points that showed up on the graphs. Those are key points. So on Desmos, anytime a gray point shows up, you click on the gray points. Okay. And those are my key points. So those are points that are worth knowing. We really want to know where the intercepts for graphs are. So those would be things you want to write down for your graph as well. So that is a short tutorial on some stuff with Desmos. We'll make videos as we come up with new interesting things we need to be able to do with Desmos to aid you in exploring math further this year.